We are back to regular programming, guys. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday morning. Hope you all had a great week and you're getting ready for the winding down on the weekend. We are going to be getting back to normal. We are going to go back to reading the Bible. Now we are on to the book of Isaiah, and so far, Isaiah have been proving himself to be one of those worthy prophets in the Bible. Okay, for those of you who are just coming in, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I sincerely appreciate you. Those of you who are just coming into the channel, just discovering the channel, I hope you find it interesting over here so you will come back. We do the Bible reading over here just about every morning. We do read novels and I share most of my life with you all. Nothing new there. So so I want to say welcome. Thank you all so much for coming. And to all my returning travelers, I want to say thank you for your continued support. Yesterday, I had a good time for my birthday. Thanks to everybody who sent me birthday wishes. I sincerely appreciate those as well. So now we are going to be moving right into it, and we'll be reading the book of Isaiah, chapter 39 through to 41. So if you have your book Bible or your Google Bible, come along with me and let us read together so that we can take notes as well as we read along. So when somebody's talking to you about the Bible, it is always good that you are able to find your own biblical references to either agree with them or to counter whatever it is that they are telling you. Because let me tell you something, people. More than 97% of the people who claim to know the Bible, who preach the Bible, want to convert you and baptize you, etc., have never read the Bible. They have absolutely no clue. They have not read the entire Bible. You got to read the Bible because you got to have context when you are talking to people about the Bible. You got to know what you're talking about. I know the Bible, a lot of it is hard to understand. That is so true. Some parts of the Bible you are like, huh? What are they talking about? When did we get here? And that is why you have to read it and get the context from the literature. Because, for example, we are reading here in Isaiah talking about Hezekiah, and we had read it before in, I think, the book of Kings. We had read it. Now, had we not, if we hadn't read it before, we would not even be able to tie in that Isaiah did live back in the time when Hezekiah lived. We wouldn't even be able to tie that in. We'd be wondering, like, so when did Hezekiah and Isaiah meet? And so that is why I say we have to read the Bible and read it purposefully. We can't just grab a verse and drop that verse and use the words of that verse to say this is the context of the Bible when we don't know the backstory. And the Bible is it's always one of the best selling books throughout the world. The Bible has great content, and yet the Bible has the most controversial content of any book that I have read. And we understand why. The Bible is used for good things. The Bible is used for bad. The Bible was used in slavery to justify slavery. The Bible is used for misogynistic men who want to uphold a patriarchal society in which men are considered to be untouchable, while women face the brunt of every punishment. You will hear them use the Bible to justify that kind of behavior. People will use the Bible for just about anything, any story. that is written in the Bible, people will go back and use that story for as modern a circumstance as they can, just to say that it was in the Bible. And so if it was in the Bible, it's gotta be gospel. And you gotta obey, you gotta do it because it's in the Bible. Now, having read the Bible thus far, I know that that cannot be true, because we see in the Bible where there was a lot of atrocities committed in the Bible, and these atrocities, these types of atrocities, are what we are trying to avoid in this modern society. So certainly, we wouldn't do everything that is in the Bible. When it comes to the commandments, when somebody asks me if I follow the commandments, I find it funny that people who have only read the commandments, they haven't read the backstory of it, would want to ask me if I follow the commandments. Like, seriously. Now, the commands that are in the commandments were written for the Jews. These were Jewish laws that their leader Moses claimed to have received from their God. If you continue reading the Bible outside of these 10 commandments, you will find out that the Jewish people of back then had more than 600 laws and commandments and precepts that they were expected to follow to the T. And their punishments for not following these commandments was death. And if not, it was a mountain of sacrifice. If you have read in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, you will see where the children of Israel lived their lives of nothing but sacrifice. All day long, they were sacrificing goats and cows and sheep all day long, because it was not humanly possible for them to be able to uphold all these laws and precepts and commandments. In one commandment, it says, you should not covet your neighbor's wife. But at the same time, we see where that was a pervasive activity among the children of Israel. We hear thou shalt not, Kill, but that was a pervasive action within their society for some very, very simple offenses, what we would consider to be simple offenses today. For those very simple offenses, the only solution for them was death. If you all remember when they came over into Jericho, and that they slaughtered everybody, they took all the spoils, and there was one person who took some priestly robes and other items and brought them to his home. That was his tent. He brought them to, and they claimed that their God said that if anybody should take anything and take it for themselves personally and take it home, that that person should be put to death. And that's exactly what happened to that young man and his entire family, for having taken a priestly robe and some other items out of all the spoils that they had taken from Jericho after they had slaughtered everybody in Jericho. He was slaughtered for having taken the priestly robes and other things. Because according to them, according to Joshua, he was bringing a curse onto them as a people. So that explained why they were always out for blood. Because whatever one person did in the group meant that they were causing harm to the entire group. And so they use that as some kind of justification to eliminate that person totally, to eliminate that threat. And even with all these eliminations of all these people, because they were quote unquote corrupting the group, they still ended up being overtaken by the enemies. Ain't that something? The enemies still conquered Jerusalem. The enemies were still able over time to knock the walls down, drive them all out, take over everywhere, and essentially made them to be almost non-existent in the region. Ain't that something? But this morning we are going to be reading from the book of Isaiah. We are going to be reading chapters 39 through to 41, where we see Hezekiah. Hezekiah had been given 15 more years to live because he was on his deathbed, but clearly he wasn't ready, he wasn't prepared, his soul wasn't right, so to speak. And so when Isaiah told him that he shall die, but his house was not in order, he went and he turned his face to the wall and he prayed and he begged God to save his soul. And he got 15 more years so he could put his house in order. Joe, what's up? Joe, what's up? How you doing, Joseph? Good morning, happy Sabbath to you, my love. Well, Joe, you see, I woke up with a little hangover, kind of. So I had to go drink a little bit of tea and stuff and make myself feel a little better so I can come on out up in here. I should have been here before, but hey, I am here. That's the most important thing. But yeah, I was a little bit knocked off my rockers last night. You know what I mean? There is no time at all in my life that I ever consume alcohol and not pay for it. So that is okay. But that is all right. We are going to be continuing with the reading. So come along with me, guys. Without further ado, let us begin. Isaiah chapter 39 says, At that time, Merodach Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered. And Hezekiah was glad of them, and showed them the house of his precious things, the silver and the gold and the spices and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah shewed them not. Let us show off, bring this grace. Let us continue. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah and said unto him, What did these men say? And where did they come from? And Hezekiah said, They are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon. Then he said, What have they seen in thy house? And Hezekiah answered, All that is in my house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not showed them. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the day has come that all that is in thy house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. Remember, here says, show off, bring disgrace. So here comes, remember, the Babylonians were always the Jewish enemy. Okay? And here comes I think so. When I read the stories in the Bible, I think sometimes the Jewish people had let their guards down too many times. You know, they could be fighting with somebody. They know this dynasty is their enemy, and then all of a sudden, this king would send them a gift or something, and they just let their guards down and welcome these people with open arms. These people are your enemies. Ain't no welcoming them with open arms. And we see where this has led them over the years. Because every time somebody come from Babylon, somebody come from Syria, somebody come from Lebanon, and as long as they say they come in peace, it seemed like the ruler of the Jews would say, okay, they come in peace. Now here, we know that Babylon has always been an enemy of the Jews. Now here the Babylonian king is going to send Hezekiah some gold and silver and spices, and all of a sudden he thinks they are his friends. Hello? They are not your friends. Now you hear how Isaiah said to Hezekiah, you show them everything in this house. You have shown them everything in this house. Mark my word. Everything in this house is going to be taken down to Babylon. Them are going to take away everything. Let us continue. Winsome is here. Sister Winsome, how you doing? Can you finally wake up? Yes, Sister Winsome, I'm reading from Isaiah chapter 39 through to 41. Josie say you don't sick, you're just a little tunted. True, Josie. True. You are so right. You are so right. We're just a little tunted for true. Oh my gosh, you are funny. All right, let us continue. And Isaiah told Hezekiah that everything will be taken into Babylon. Nothing shall be left. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away. And they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. You know why? You know why they shall be eunuchs? Because they want to cease the Jewish population from continuing. Because remember, Hezekiah is from the line of David. So if Hezekiah's sons are not able to have children, then that means the line of David is going to be cut off. Let us continue. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. He said, moreover, for there shall be peace and truth in my days. Here ends the reading of Isaiah chapter 39. We are moving on to chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40. Comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Verse 3. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. The voice said, Cry. And he said, What shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the godliness thereof is as the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, because the Spirit of the Lord blows upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God shall stand forever. O Zion, that bringeth good things, get thee up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, that brings good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength, lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, Behold your God. Behold, the Lord God will come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with a span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who hath directed the spirits of the Lord, or being his counselor hath taught him? With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and shewed to him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he takes up the isle as a very little thing. The Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for the burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Let me read that again. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. What nations are we talking about? We are talking about the nations outside of the Jews. Because remember, in the Bible where we're reading now, so far we have read, the only God that is being spoken of is the God of Israel. And this God, clearly, the instructions and commandments that this God is supposedly giving is only being given to Jews. The other people in the world are considered to be nothing. Yet, these other people who are considered to be nothing are the ones who this God is using to punish his people, the Israelite. Make it make sense. I want y'all to listen clearly. So far, the Bible, the God in the Bible so far is the God of the Jews. The other people in the world to this God is considered to be nothing because they're not Jews. They are not included. Any blessing that's being given is not being given to them. Any curse that's being given for somebody who has not served him, they are not getting that curse. It is the Jews. But this same God is using these people who are considered to be nothing, who are considered to be the enemies. They are the ones being used to punish the Jews whenever they step out of line. Because whenever you hear the Bible talk about the enemies being used to take the Jews as slaves, as part of their punishment, aren't these enemies always the Babylonians and the Syrians and the Arabs, the Lebanese, and everybody else around? Isn't it? Now, if you ask me, the Bible is written from this Jewish perspective. But what did the other people who lived during that time have to say about what was happening at that time? Because we are only reading the Jewish perspective of what was happening, what happened to them, what happened between them and their God. Is there another book that is written by people who lived during that time but were not Jews? So they would have a different perspective about it, because here the Bible is speaking of the Jews and their plights and their lamentations and all of that for them. If right now, as I live, if I should write a book about what is happening, about my experience, say my religious experience at the moment, don't you think it would be wise for someone who is reading my perspective on it to read the perspective of somebody else during this time, who lived during this time? Because if 10 people write about what's happening in the world right now, there's going to be, all 10 of them are going to have different perspectives about what's happening. People's biases and favors and likenesses and dislikes are going to come into play. And when that comes into play, it oftentimes corrupts the veracity of the literature. So yeah, we're only reading about the Jews, but we don't know what was happening in the lives and hearts and minds of the other people who existed then. But we're going to continue reading. We're going to continue reading, because even though the Jewish God considered these people to be nothing, when he's ready to avenge the Jews, he uses these people, these same nothing people, he used them to help him to avenge the Jews for not obeying him. Let's continue. Verse 18. To whom then will he listen, God? Okay, to whom then will he liken God? Or what likeness will he compare unto him? The workman melts a graven image and the goldsmith spread it over with gold, and casteth silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he hath no oblation chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeks unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? Is it he that sits upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in? That brings the princes to nothing. He makes the judges of the earth as vanity. Yea, they shall not be planted. Yea, they shall not be sown. Yea, their stock shall not take root in the earth. And he shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. To whom then will he liken me, or shall I be equal? Saith the Holy One. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things, that brings out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power, not one fails. Why sayest thou, O Jacob, and speakest, O Israel? My way is hid from the Lord, and my judgment is passed over from my God. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, faints not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He gives power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increases their strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fail. Verse 31, and this is the last verse of chapter 40, the book of Isaiah. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Teach me, Lord, how to wait. All right, let me read it. Verse 31 of chapter 40. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Here ends the reading of Isaiah chapter 40. We are going to move on to Isaiah chapter 41. For those of you who are here, welcome. Thank you all so much for coming. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to share out the live. Don't forget to invite your friends to come on over into the morning's live. I sincerely appreciate you all. Isaiah chapter 41. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near. Then let them speak. Let them come near together to judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him rule over kings? He gave them as the dust to his sword, and as driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet. Who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, the first, and with the last, I am he. The isles saw it, and feared. The ends of the earth were afraid, drew near, and came. They helped everyone his neighbor, and everyone said to his brother, Be of good courage. So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he that smootheth with the hammer, him that smote the anvil, saying, It is ready for the soldering. And he fastened it with nails, that it should not be moved. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I had chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Thou, whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant. I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. The words there from the Jewish God to the Jews. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. Thou shalt seek them, and shalt not find them, even them that contended with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. This is the Jewish God talking to the Jews, All right. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument, having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains, and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them. And thou shalt rejoice in the Lord, and shall glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places, and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree, and the pine, and the box tree together, that they may see and know, and consider and understand together, that the hand of the Lord hath done this, and the Holy One of Israel hath created it. Produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. Let them bring them forth, and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things, that what they be, that we may consider them, and know the latter end of them, or declare us things for to come. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that ye are gods. Yea, do good, or do evil, that we may be dismayed, and behold it together. Behold, ye are of nothing, and your work of naught. An abomination is he that chooseth you. I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come. From the rising of the sun shall he call upon my name. And he shall come upon princes as upon mortar, and as the potter threadeth clay. Who hath declared from the beginning what we may know, and before time, that we may say, He is righteous? Yea, there is none that showeth, yea, there is none that declares, yea, there is none that hears your word. Verse 27, the first shall say to Zion, Behold, behold them, and I will give to Jerusalem one that brings good tidings. For I beheld, and there was no man, even among them, and there was no counselor that, when I asked of them, could answer a word. Now you all hear the promise their God gave them, that he's going to give them someone who is going to bring them good tidings. Just keep that in mind as we continue reading. Verse 29 and last, it says, Behold, they are all vanity. Their works are nothing. Their molten images are wind and confusion. Here ends the reading of Isaiah chapter 41. And this brings us to the end of the reading for this morning, guys. When we come back tomorrow, we will continue with the reading of the Bible. We will continue from Isaiah chapter 42. For those of you who are just joining the channel, those of you just discovering the channel, just coming in, please know that we do not endorse any particular religion or any denomination. Over here, what we are really trying to do is to read the Bible for ourselves, making ourselves aware of its contents, rather than having somebody tell us what is in the Bible, because the Bible's content is so often misconstrued. People use it to fit their own narrative. They change what is in the Bible. They change the words so that it will sound suitable for whatever point they're trying to get across. But if you will go back and read the Bible for yourself, you'd realize that you need context whenever you are going to use any of the stories in the Bible. You have to have read it and gotten context from it, because you can't just pick up one verse of the Bible and read just one verse and claim that that one verse that you have read, that one verse that you have read speaks for the entire chapter or the entire book of the Bible, because there's also a lot of repetition in the Bible. Yeah, there's also a lot of repetition. So it would behoove anybody who wants to be a biblical scholar or wants to be someone who is preaching the Bible and claim that they are bringing people into the fold. It would behoove them to at least once in their lifetime read the Bible from the beginning to the end. Yeah, make notes. Get context, whatever you're reading. and understanding. If you have to search for additional literature to give you some clarification, certainly that would be recommended. Let's see who is in the chat and what they're saying here. Joseph is saying happy Sabbath. Happy Sabbath, Jojo. How are you? Winsome say, thank you so much, Winsome. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much. One more year, and now we start another journey around the sun. OMG. We start another journey, and this journey, guys, you all are going to be with me no matter what. We are taking this journey again together, just like we have taken several journeys around the sun together. We are going to take this one again. And I want to say thanks to those of you who made my day yesterday extremely special. My day yesterday was great. Yeah. I can't show no highlight, but I'll show you all the parts that are worth showing. Okay, guys? Yeah. So thanks again, everybody, and thanks to you all for coming into this morning's live reading of the Bible. When we come back tomorrow, we will continue with the reading from Isaiah chapter 42. And that's going to be it from me for this morning, my dear friends. Until next time, this is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Have yourselves a great day, everybody, and I will see you all later. Okay, I got